All right. My special guest today is Jerry Luftman. He is the founder and managing director of the Global Institute for IT Management. Program for quite a long time because he's got some really exciting things that he's talking about. So I want to get right into it. But before that, I also want to invite and say welcome to a new advertiser, a marketer on the Doctor of Digital podcast, JJM Advertising Limited. And they have got some good blog sites for you and things for you. They got a good article just out, why quality over quantity is the key to effective content. So that's a great question. But with that as an introduction, this is the Doctor of Digital podcast, the only podcast that really is trying to grow businesses using social audio. Jerry, thank you for coming on the show. And it's great to have you finally. I'm wondering if you tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get started in this field in the first place?
Well, you see these gray hairs?
Yes.
How much time does this podcast supposed to last?
For sure.
Well, look, this is an exciting area and has always been an exciting area. I've been fortunate enough to be engaged since 1970 when I graduated from the first class of computer science and information systems from NYU. How I decided to select that as my major, probably two things motivated me. One, I was always a fan of Mr. Spock in those days. Sure. It was still just the original Star Trek series. Yes. And I was always good in math, and looking at what this computer field looked like way back then, it seemed like it would be a good match. And as it turns out, I've had, let's say, over 50 years in it and seen lots of exciting changes. And I think we're still babes in the wood because I think that there are still many changes yet to come. So candidly, I can't think of a better place to have spent my career. And I don't think there's a better place to be right now, given all of the changes that are taking place. So happy to join you and your team.
Right. Now, this is a long time. Like you're saying, we got the gray and what have you. So
whatever color it is.
I'll take it.
You got it.
What would you say are some of the biggest changes that you have seen? Because this has been a really long time over that period.
That's a great question, because while there has been dramatic changes in technology throughout the decades, some things have not changed. So we seem to be making the same mistakes over and over again in how we manage projects and succeed in projects and how we work together between IT and non-IT organizations. But the changes taking place with technology are just profound, but recognizing that it's not just the technology is really essential and often missed. Thinking about the ecosystem with the changes that are taking place because of the pandemic, changes because of the global dependencies around the entire world, recognizing the skills and the skills shortage that exists, recognizing wars, all of these, and let alone politics and government and things like that, all going on at the same time, any one of which would cause an executive to not be comfortable. But then you take a look at all of the technologies that are being introduced right now. You take a look at robotics, process automation, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, the SMAC technology, social, mobile, analytics, and cloud, all of which, again, would cause any organization to have nightmares about implementing. But the key thing is you've got to consider all of those technologies, not just as individual technologies, but how well they integrate with each other, as well as how well they integrate with the current existing legacy programs and applications that you have. And too often, again, people still tend to look at individual technologies and not at the integration of the technologies,
Sure.
let alone the integration of the technologies with the business and the ecosystem that are confronting the each of the businesses. So we talk about the digital transformation, which, where every company, every industry is going through this transformation.
Mhm.
How well they understand the need to do the things that we just talked about, how well we understand the need for IT and non-IT executives to work cohesively together. We call that alignment. How well we integrate our strategies, our plan, our skills, our resources, our relationships. Again, demand that they all be addressed at the same time. And you miss any one of those things,
Yeah.
and you're likely to fail. And if you fail with any one of those things, your whole company could fail. And we see that happening time and time again in today's world.
Mhm. With so many changes that are taking place, it almost might be more difficult to narrow it down. But would you be able to identify along the lines of this digital transformation, what would you say are some of the hot growth areas in the field today?
Well, the ones from a technical perspective, they're the ones that I talked about. I mean, any company that's not doing some level of cloud computing and looking at Internet of Things and looking at AI and looking at blockchain, looking at 3D printing and looking at all of the SMAC technologies and considering the security implications, you can't not look at any one of those. You've got to look at them all holistically and how they fit together. And every one of them are having profound impact on every industry all around the globe. And, I have the opportunity to work with large corporations and not so large corporations around the globe. And candidly, they're facing the same problems, wherever they're located and whatever their size and whatever industry they're in. You got to look at all of these technologies and have a strategy and a set of plan and resources to be able to integrate the technologies. But it's not just the technologies, which is another significant, continuous, pervasive, persistent problem that we've been facing over the years. You really have to take a look at not the individual technologies and how they get integrated, but it's how those technologies can be applied to the business. So you can have the best technologies in the world. You can have the best applications that are leveraging the respective technologies in the world. But if the business doesn't change what it does and how it does its business, they're going to go out of business. They're going to go away. And probably the biggest change, and to me the most exciting change that I've seen in the digital transformation, is the fact that more and more companies are leveraging information technology for revenue generating initiatives. It's not just back office things.
Sure.
It's not just payroll and accounts receivable, accounts payable, and the back office processes. And even with the pandemic, that opened up a lot of people's eyes to the need to have the support infrastructure in place so people can work at home. It's the revenue generating applications and how, again, the business changes what they do and how they work with their clients and customers. This is exciting. This is what we've been looking for forever, in taking a look at how we could leverage information technology for competitive advantage. And this war stories over ancient history, but we're seeing more and more the opportunities are there, and non-IT executives are recognizing the important role that IT must play if they're going to succeed in today's world. So we're seeing more and more examples of IT and non-IT organizations working cohesively together, aligned, to put together the strategies and implementation and the changes that the business must make to succeed in today's world.
Are there some things that you would recommend a business owner to consider? Because there's a whole panoply of things you're describing, but let's take some of the business owners, or maybe have some examples? Like, what should they be looking for? What should they be considering at this point?
Well, I couldn't have asked a better question myself, quite frankly, Mike, because we've been looking at the challenges and problems and opportunities of how to get to the point where we are today, where IT and non-IT organizations are aligned, are working cohesively together.
Sure.
And we built a very, very comprehensive, what we call an assessment tool or a model to take a look at the relationships between IT and non-IT organizations to ensure that they're working effectively and efficiently together. And basically, it's six not silver bullets, but six major components or considerations that we take a look at and assess both from an IT and a non-IT perspective. And it includes having effective communications between IT and non-IT organizations, which means IT understanding the business and business understanding IT. We've long recognized the need for IT to understand the business, and that not always been very successful.
Yeah.
But the need for the non-IT organization to understand information technology and how IT can be leveraged in their respective company and industry has become extremely important. In fact, some of the IT management programs that we have are growing more rapidly for non-IT executives than they are for IT, because these senior non-IT executives are constantly reading about these emerging technologies that we've talked about already.
Mm-hmm.
But they're looking for a place where they could basically understand what these technologies are and how they could be leveraged in their company, in the industry, and the roles that they must play to ensure that they successfully deploy these technologies. And obviously, they don't care about degrees or certificates or certifications, but we've had over half a dozen of these Global 1000 CEO conferences, in fact, for 2.5 days at a nice venue. But they are really frustrated by not being able to find out things that they need to know in terms that they could appreciate and understand. So they tend not to want to go to a university, because even the best of them are still too academic. And they tend not to want to go to a vendor or a service provider or consulting company, because they're constantly hitting on them and marketing their products and services. So we provide them with a nice, safe space in terms that they could appreciate. So communications is essential. Having that partnership or the relationship between IT and the business and how you get them to work together is the second important element. Governance, who and how we make decisions. You can't just have IT make the IT decisions, and certainly can't have just the business make the decisions. So you need the processes from a strategic, tactical, and operational perspectives, and the right players and stakeholders engaged in making decisions about how IT can be leveraged and how the changes that must be made in the organization can be made. Having appropriate value metrics. How do you assess the contribution that IT is making to the overall organization? Is something that organizations are struggling, and too frequently IT focuses on their technical measurements as opposed to the business measurements and the contribution that they're making directly to revenues and profits, for example. Then there's the HR considerations, way too frequently not something that we are very, very effective at, and how you ensure you have the appropriate skills and motivational opportunities for IT people to make sure you have the best people. When you outsource, when you insource, having a sourcing strategy is something often missed. And then there's the technical considerations, the one out of six things that we have to consider. So it's communications, governance, value, partnership, human resources, and technology. We have found all six of those things to be essential, and each of them have a multitude of elements within themselves that we look at across IT and business. And we really found over the years, and this is published in rigorous academic journals, that those organizations that have a higher IT business alignment maturity score outperform their competitors in the same industry. So we know it works. We know it's the right things to do. And it's a very, very, today more than ever, it's more important in recognizing the importance of alignment, the importance of IT and non-IT organizations working together as a team.
Mm-hmm. So what types of expertise would you offer a business owner? Let's say if a person was interested in your services. So what do you do? What do you offer? And what kinds of things could they be looking for?
Um, that gives me an opportunity to put an advertisement in, I guess.
Sure.
Well, we have a wide range of programs from entry level people to senior level non-IT executives that I spoke to a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Our sweet spot tends to be IT professionals with 10 or more years of experience who are looking to move up in their careers. So they've proven themselves as good technical people, perhaps good project managers, perhaps good lower level managers, but they don't really have the senior management or leadership or industry or interpersonal skills that are so important to succeed in today's world. The entry level people that we tend to have programs for tend to be with universities and master's degrees, where we help a university expand what they're currently offering through the breadth of our 35 different 4-course certificate programs. So nobody's got the breadth of IT management education programs that we offer. So we're happy to offer universities the opportunity to expand into areas that they currently are not providing. So that's where we get some of the entry-level people, but still most of our candidates are working professionals within a commercial environment or consulting environment or service provider environment, looking to move up in their careers. And then on the other extreme are the senior level non-IT executives who are hungry to find out what's going on in the world. And the net is, and I suggest this oftentimes when talking to people in the field. I mean, you could take a programmer or a database person or a security person, what have you, and whether they're from Bangalore or Brooklyn, their technical skills are about the same.
Right. Sure.
What differentiates them are the kind of things that we really focus on, which again are the leadership, the management, the industry, and the interpersonal skills to make these technical people more effective as they're working with their non-IT business partners or clients, and as they move up in their respective careers. But that being said, you need, and perhaps just as important, are getting the non-IT executives cognizant of the considerations that they must be aware of too. So it's a very, very hot area, and we're excited to be part of it around the globe.
A great ideas and a great amount of skills and expertise that you can bring to bear in the field, which is pretty awesome. So if a person was listening and they were interested in what you do and what you offer, Rick, what would you recommend and how would they get a hold of you and maybe just have a conversation to pursue this then?
The best way is to go to our website, which I suspect you're going to provide someplace in the write-up, but it's Global IIM, one word, Global IIM.com. That's our website. It's very comprehensive. Take a look at it. There's ways of contacting us there, but all of our certificates, all of our courses are described. The different delivery models are described, because we can deliver courses face-to-face or live online or through our learning management system or blended. And our pricing, everything you want to know is there. Everything about some of our affiliates and partners, our faculty, we've got over 300 faculty members are available. So take a look, email me, and I'd be delighted to chat with you about how to take advantage of the breadth of programs that we have.
That sounds awesome. So I've learned a lot, got a lot more background on it, and hope other people have as well. So Jerry Luftman has been my guest. Thank you, Jerry, for being here. I appreciate you taking out some time, and we'll keep in touch and keep in track with each other. Once again, I want to thank my new episode sponsor, JJM Advertising Limited. They've got a great new article out, Why Quality Over Quantity is the Key to Effective Content. So until next time, this is the Doctor of Digital podcast. Keep tuned. We've got a lot of great things coming your way. Till next time, Deus Volt.